All right, listeners, live from the Velvet Room, it's S-Link FM.
Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of S-Link FM, Persona Gaff's very own and original podcast. I am your host, Levito, and with me today is Jello.
Hello.
Inorigo, or Ron.
Hi.
My partner in crime, Armada.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
We're all excellent. And of course, after many weeks of hype, it's all come to this. We finally have a real guest on the podcast. We have the very own Erin Fitzgerald here.
You gotta eat more meat.
Well, see, it's gotten real, already gotten real.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So awesome to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for being here. So,
Definitely.
For those listeners that might not be familiar with who you are, how about you just give us a brief intro?
A brief intro.
Yes.
Well, hello, world out there. My name is Erin Fitzgerald, and I am a voice actor. The most famous thing I'm on that most of the gamers in their 20s know about is that there was a little show on Cartoon Network called Ed, Edd and Eddy, and I played two characters on that show. And so most people know me from that. That's kind of like the big one. I do cartoon voices as well as video game voices. So I'm on like Wild Grinders on Nicktoons and Monster High. But I don't know if that's really the game community friendly series. So really my video games, which I've done hundreds of characters with, like, Catherine, Cross Edge, Destroy All Humans, Dragon's Dynasty Warriors, EverQuest, Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem Awakening, League of Legends, Skullgirls, Mugen Souls, Persona 4, obviously, Arena and Golden, Saints Row I'm in, Skullgirl, I said that one, Silent Hill, Book of Memories I'm in, a lot of the Shin Megami Tensei stuff like Soul Hackers and Devil Survivor Overclocked. I'm literally reading the credits list on my website. It's easier.
Nice.
A lot of people like that one, Tales of the Abyss. What did I miss? I know I missed a bunch of stuff. Yeah, and then a bunch of other stuff. Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, Eternal Sonata. Some people really like that one too.
There we go. There. Now you know who we have on the podcast today. So, obviously, since we're a Persona podcast, we primarily wanted you on because you were Chie and had the animation golden.
Word.
What's that?
Word.
Absolutely.
Decided Chie says word now. Nobody ever writes it in the freaking scripts.
So
Nice.
So I figure if that's the first thing we should do is just go into questions.
Let's do it.
And
I got a question. Who's the best Persona character in the series? That's an
Chie
easy.
Satonaka.
Hell yeah,
course.
it's GA. Hell yeah, it is.
There it is.
Absolutely, God. Now it's just turning into the Chie podcast. That's all right.
That's okay.
Wow.
I'm
Haters.
fine with that.
Haters.
Chie cast. If we could make that a weekly thing, that'd be
Any
great.
question you wanted, what would it be?
So Armada, you had a
Favorite kind of steak.
My favorite kind of steak is any steak I don't have to pay for.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
So I know Armada, you had a couple specifically you wanted to ask Erin. So
Yeah, I mean, I have these questions that are like fucking enormous, and they have huge prefaces to them. So if you don't mind,
Bring it.
I'll go into one. I'll go right into a pretty big one, I guess.
Let me get my
how-
stopwatch.
Yeah. How did you get into the industry, particularly into Persona? I mean, how did you get into
Okay.
that?
How did I get Persona? Now that's a big question because I'm not the original Chie Satonaka, but Tracy Rooney is the original Chie. So that was an amazing happening. In this job, sometimes miracles happen, and that getting Chie was a definite miracle. For some reason, Tracy was unable to fulfill her duties as Chie Satonaka, which you would have to ask her about. But she was aware that they were going to go with someone else due to whatever those circumstances were. And I was asked directly by the recording studio to come in because the woman who directed the games, Valerie Aram, amazing woman, amazing studio, PCB Productions, she knows me so well from working on other projects. She just, I am Chie. So it wasn't really, I didn't really have to audition because she knows what I'm like outside of work. And I have a lot of Chie-like qualities that they were looking to bring out in the character. So they just brought me in. And I started recording for the first day, and I was working with the Atlas team, who were very specific with what they wanted and did an amazing job filling me in about the character. And they specifically told me not to do a Tracy impression, that they wanted to go in a different direction because I'm a different person, and just for me to do my own take. My boyfriend is deep into Kung Fu movies, the classic kind, like full-on Bruce Lee. So it was so satisfying. And I've watched all of them because he is my boyfriend and I love him. And so I am, by default, knowledgeable in Kung Fu movies.
Yeah.
So getting to play Chie and knowing that there was that Kung Fu element, I was like, what? They let me bring out even more of that. So that was just one of those, thank you, universe. I know you love me jobs.
Yeah, it seems like everything fell into place, and you had,
Exactly.
such a background for it, and
was
you know what? I
perfect.
mean, and I'm sure you know about this. Chie is a very popular character. Just the other day I was telling these guys.
Huge backlash.
Yeah, well, but then there was there was a lot of positive too, especially after the games came out and people.
People weren't upset. You know what I mean? Like I was happy to know that people were attached to Tracy's Chie because they should be. There should be some serious honor for the original person who plays the characters. And I don't expect people to like me better, but I just hope that people, accept me as a different form of Chie, a different version of her, because I think Tracy is awesome.
Oh yeah, totally. And like I was saying, I went and I did like some searches online, like on Japanese sites and on Tumblr and whatnot. And the two most popular characters, without a doubt, in that game are Chie and Rise, for reasons. And so
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
Popular.
and so
Come on now.
the game got pretty popular through a site called Giant Bomb. These two guys that typically don't play games that are JRPGs like Persona or whatnot. They sat down and they played it, and I think that they were coming from an angle. These two guys, Jeff Gersman and Vinny Carabella from Giant Bomb. They did a Let's Play of Persona 4, and they were going into it thinking that this is going to be some obtuse JRPG that is highly critically acclaimed, okay? But we might not enjoy it, and it'll be a good laugh of us playing the game. Yeah, so the Giant Bomb guys, right? They're playing the game, they're playing Persona, they're like, okay, hey, yeah, this is a video game, pretty much. And then, their confusion and whatnot of the game turns into an actual heartfelt love for the game. And it was really cool to see you guys get won over by the game. The Let's Play is like 120 episodes long. It has like 500,000 views, okay? So it really sort of gave Persona 4 exposure to an audience that may have never wanted to see it before,
I had no idea.
Yeah, it was really phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. A lot of people very, very, very closely associate Persona 4 specifically with Giant Bomb because it's like he says, they did that quick look and it was kind of like a very, and they do that with a lot of games. They're just kind of very kind of jokey, hokey like looks at games, but they play that for so long as like a thing just to kind of have content up on the site. So now it's very closely associated and they still really like the game. And I know they like really into Arena when it came out, and then the the Vita version Golden came out, so they were into that when that happened. But I remember because after I played Golden, I already liked Giant Bomb, and then I played Golden, and I felt like I liked the site a little bit more because I knew a little bit more about those guys as far as critics and the way they think about games, and I thought that was cool. But it's a cool relationship. I think they've even like when they did their looks at Arena and then at Catherine, they had one of the guys that works at Atlas. He would always like actually like come and do it with them, which they don't normally do. So the association has like kind of been acknowledged by Atlas even. It's been a cool thing to see. Yeah.
It's very neat. Like a community started to grow out of it. Okay, so like I was saying, with these Giant Bomb guys, one of the characters that they really became attached to was Chie. They were just okay. Hey, this Chie character is really cool. What's so cool about her? She's different than other girls in other games, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was absolutely. It was really cool. A lot of people that played the game that I knew. A lot of my friends in my circle of friends that play games, they really liked Chie. A lot of people online, and that's when I started getting into the Persona Gap community and NeoGAF because I started noticing all these people talking about like, hey, there's this great character in this game. She's really cool. She's really nice, neat, whatever. And so so Persona 4 Golden comes out.
That makes me feel so happy on the inside.
Yeah, and you're the Chie. You are Chie. You were like destined to be Chie. You are Chie, and you're in Persona 4 Golden and in Arena, and people were like, oh, this new voice actor. Everybody knows that story. But then when they started playing the game, there was a lot of positive reaction to it, and I think that the consensus came around to be that it wasn't necessarily the voice that made the character. It's the character is so strong on their own that it doesn't really matter, sort of in a way, what the voice sounds like. It's like a lot of the tenacity and the peppiness and the confidence and whatnot that the character has was sort of amplified. I feel was amplified by you.
I think that's pretty badass because I think Chie is badass, and I think that the fact that people relate to her. I mean, I knew my goal when I seriously, when I was recording her, felt so much love for her. I didn't give a shit while I was recording if anybody liked it because it was satisfying me on such a soul level being her, getting to go in and record her day after day because we did Arena first. So I recorded Persona 4 Arena first at the beginning of the year, and so I didn't know all the backstory because I hadn't done Golden yet. Like they were telling me the backstory, and fans were filling me in because they let me. The cool thing about Atlas is they let me talk about it early on, so I could put the word out there and have fans be prepared that there was going to be a different
New
person.
voice actress.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a big deal. You need to give fans time to prepare for a big jarring shift like that.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, so I my goal was that I didn't expect anybody to like my performance, but as I was recording her, the intention was I'm going to win over one person at a time. They're going to play it and they're going to fall in love with her because you can't help it because she's so awesome.
Yeah,
and
totally, absolutely.
It's just
yeah.
the way she's going to win them over. She's going to win them over because don't think, feel.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's okay. You just answered my question. My follow-up question was basically just going to be about a frame of context for the character. Because you're an actor, and I was just going to ask about that, and you already answered it. So yeah. So I'll save another one of my huge questions for later. But, yeah, Vito, take it.
No, that's actually a note I wanted to say. I'm like the martial arts guy, and it didn't even occur to me till I played Golden that she was quoting Bruce Lee when she said, "Don't think, feel."
We were doing okay. This is some of the fun shit that. Oh, can I say that? I just did.
No, go for it. Too late.
Go for it. Go all out.
Cause like sailors here, Chie, it's all good.
When Chia does all of her call outs and her fighting moves, we were trying to make them as close to Bruce Lee movie titles as we could without
violating copyrights.
So we'd be calling my boyfriend who has his own, he's got a Kung Fu website called Kung Fu Movie Madness. So he knows everything that we can get away with and not. So we'd be calling him. I'm like, can we get away with this? He's like, no, that's too close. You got to change it up. So we had a list of, for the real Kung Fu movie, classic Kung Fu movie fan, you should be able to hear the tributes to all. I mean, we changed it on the spot. You was such a great director, and he was totally working with me on like, let's make this even more Kung Fu-y. He was awesome.
So it was really, really like a sort of a collaboration then.
Oh, just for that part. I mean, we didn't write for the story or anything else. Just for the Kung Fu-y bits, we wanted to do it as close as possible. That was really cool that they let me do that. And also, they let me, like, they gave me so much freedom that PCB Productions and Atlas, like, literally I would be running, because Chia has a lot of energy. So I'd be running around in circles in the booth just to get myself just because that's just what I did as TA. And
Nice.
My favorite parts were anything with the Kung Fu, and eating. Just the eating. Like, there are takes that they didn't and couldn't use that were so ridiculous because for me, Chie was hilarious. So the reads that would come out of my mouth first would always play to the comedy, and then they'd be like, okay, we can't do that. We're gonna have to do this line serious. I'm like, okay. But they always let me have that outlet first because that's just, within me, my Chie is so,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not intentionally funny. She's just so adorably funny,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
she cracks me up. Like the stuff, like I
Mhm.
feel like she's alive within me, and I don't really have to do anything except get out of my way and let her come out.
Well,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's great. That
Yeah.
was that's one of the things that I really liked about really all the acting in that game, which it felt like it was a little bit more than what you typically get from what you hear in a typical game or an anime or whatever, because it felt
Totally.
like
Yeah,
it felt like
absolutely.
it felt like you guys, like they really, because first of all, obviously it's a very very, one thing you hear about it a lot is that it's a very very verbose game, not just in like the text but also the voice. There's just a lot of voice acting
Oh
in it,
yeah.
and there's a lot of dialogue that you just like sit and listen to for good stretches, and it's good
Yeah.
stuff, which doesn't bother me. But it felt like you guys got to put so much more into it than what we typically hear. And I know
I
like probably
agree.
I'm assuming like one advantage of that would be the fact that you're not like syncing up lips with like moving models, which was advantageous, because I felt like so much more of the acting came through like it was genuine, and I kind of believed it, and it felt like these were more like people, and you just got the sense that like they really didn't rush this. Like they knew, even though it was a re-release, they obviously took their time and recorded this over quite a while. Like it
And
really doesn't feel like it's rushed.
the technology that they use is pretty badass, because in most video games that come from Japan, the actor is forced to listen to the Japanese actor first, and then you deliver your line, which totally affects how you read a line. You can't help
Right,
it because
right,
you're hearing
right.
what the original actor did. They didn't do that with this game, so it felt like it was original animation because of because they could change. They did the same thing with Catherine, because they can change the mouth flaps, that we don't have to match to anything, and we don't have to match to timing except for maybe some fight stuff. But really it was pretty badass that way. Like it was so cutting edge. In other games you don't have that kind of freedom. You have I was working on a game today where you only have really one take. That's it. I see the line for the first time, I read it, and that's it. We move on.
It's
And
really
Oh.
that,
really like quick and constrained, right?
well, that feels it's not it just is. It's different. It's
Hmm.
not as open and not as I mean, it's a testament to what I do professionally, because not everybody can do that. And the talent that are used that do that a lot are spectacular talent. But I think you feel the difference when the actor is given that freedom to put their heart into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Exactly. That's
absolutely.
exactly what it feels like when you hear all that stuff. It's
And
you can
me and
tell.
Yuri Lowenthal get cast in everything together, so it was extra juicy.
That,
And he
you
Yeah,
know what?
played
he's so
That's
good.
funny because
Catherine
that's
him
exactly the character I
real
was thinking of.
right.
I'm thinking of Chie and I'm thinking of Yosuke. Those two in
I thought
particular.
that you were
Something
like,
about those two in
we,
particular.
that's just our relationship for real. That was
Yeah.
no joke. That's just writing him writing me. That's it. Like that was just such an honest relationship and
Yeah, nice.
game.
So it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was such
That's
good
great.
casting.
Oh, right on. So yeah. So do you have anything else, Armada? Before do you have another heavy hitter?
I do, and maybe we should, because the next one's pretty heavy. It's about kinesics and linguistics, so maybe we should ask something else
Are you
before I
sure?
get into that.
Oh, how about, okay, I'll go to one of the questions that someone asked
Oh, great.
on the website. So uh, this is from Anonymous. So for Chie, how did you come up with how she would sound?
I just looked at her photo and they told me her age and they told me her personality, and it just came out of me.
Just snap?
Mm.
Was there much, wrestling with
Tweak?
it, or just you got
No,
it right
no.
away?
No. That's what good casting does. Good casting, it's not that hard.
Oh, right on, right on. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking to
Wow.
you now, it seems like it was exactly that incredibly
Yeah.
like butter smooth transition.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
I imagine it just being like
She
just
wasn't one of those
putting on an
voices
old
that I
shoe.
constantly had to go, who is she again? Like there are some characters where I'm like, uh-oh, I know I forgot her voice. And
Uh,
it was actually, there was a panic because I don't know why they did this, but they went to a different studio to record the animation, and that freaked out the entire cast because the entire Persona 4 series, the game series, had all been done at PCB Productions forever. So they
uh,
knew everything about the characters and the story and like the whole Bible. And then to go to a place where they were in crunch time, they had to do in a couple of months learn the entire canon, learn everything, and then direct us, it was really awkward because it's a different energy. I do think that Christy Reed, the director of the animation, did a spectacular job considering all of these incredible limitations that she was given to work with. But I remember because I had finished doing Arena and Golden hadn't started recording yet, and then I was doing the animation and I was panicking because I didn't have my Chie voice reference. I could remember how she felt in my body, but I didn't know if I was going too young. I didn't know exactly, and I couldn't get it, and so I was panicking that I wasn't nailing her voice because it wasn't the same studio.
Right.
So, and she might sound a little bit different in the animation because of that. But when I went back to Golden, because they had all of it back at the original studio, they had the voice references. I could match it to Arena. So the animation, I feel like the animation was really hard to do. It was really hard for me to do because I was so new to the cast and I hadn't been doing this character for years, and I felt the pressure of how big this character was, and I didn't want to fail the fans, and to put it in an anime, I was like, oh my god, it really can't suck, and have to translate some of the lines. I'm like, yeah, can we tweak it to be more like the game, because she knows, she didn't know, she hadn't played the game, she didn't know the game script or what she normally says, so there's some different, like even in the animation, I felt like whoever did the anime and in Japan, it's like, did you watch the show? How come in the entire animation, all they're eating is noodles? Where the hell is the meat? That really.
That is really that's really great studious observation that I haven't even made myself.
Oh my god! It annoyed the hell out of me. I'm like, why am I eating? Why am I not even talking about eating steak?
It
like
makes
this
sense.
is wrong.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
It comes with like one time, I think.
We get a whole
she does order 2 beef bowls at one point.
I do like the new delivery noodle girl in the animation, though. She was hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, they get that she eats a lot, but they got missed the big steak meat.
Yeah. They didn't have for steak in the animation.
Or meat, or any meat.
Yeah, that's a fan favorite.
It really is a gross. Now that you pointed out, it's a gross oversight.
I know.
That's what I felt.
Meatless.
But that's not on the English companies. That started somewhere in Japan because whoever animated that just dropped that ball.
Yeah.
So hey, let's talk about meat for a second. Erin, do you like to cook?
I can cook. Whether I like to cook, yeah, I'm kind of like Chie in that respect. Let's make some curry.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And then you kill everybody with the food.
That's correct.
I'll say we talk about perfect casting then, right?
Yeah, no, I have a few things that I make well, and then I'm not a cook. No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Well,
sorry.
Wow.
That was...
Maybe the casting's a little too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was a real heavy hitter, Armada. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know, man. Well, hey, I cook. I'm just
No, I'm just giving you shit.
If Erin cooks, then we could talk about cooking. We could turn this into a cooking podcast.
That was a good question.
Wait, no, I was giving you shit. I'm gonna go for. We have a whole bunch of questions.
Okay,
let's do it.
I'll do another one.
I feel like it's an exam and I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait. Let me do one.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's a funny one that it's like, which one of us do you think has the most potential to be a voice actor?
Based on
our natural voice.
Oh god.
Right, because that's not how I decide how someone can be a voice actor. I decide on whether you can act, not whether you have a good voice. So
that's a good answer. Yep.
That's I knew that was coming.
That is my answer.
Well, there we go.
I don't know because I haven't heard any of them act yet.
Fair enough. So we've already had our dream shot down already.
Well, no. It's on pause until you give me a little sample.
I've got nothing. What about you?
All right, then you're fired.
Oh, damn it.
Yep, gotta go.
Perfect. All right. I'll do another one since that was fast. Mo the Hawk asks, in what order do you record the Persona projects, Arena, Golden, Animation, and did you adjust the style of Chie's voice over that time?
We should just talk about that.
I think, she already answered that one.
Oh, I didn't know if we heard it in succession. So.
It was I did Arena. Animation started before Golden, but really I did animation and Golden kind of overlapping with each other. And yes, I think that how I did Chie in the animation is different from the games because I didn't have my voice reference from the games.
Okay.
Oh, really? I wouldn't even have noticed. I thought it was exactly the same.
I think some people might notice, and Mo of the Hawk would I think that was his name.
Yeah.
You may have noticed, and if you did, you have a very good ear because that would have been because my goal was that nobody would notice, but if someone noticed, you're right.
It does sound
So
a
I'm gonna
little
give you
slightly
points.
different from the very small clippings I've heard of the anime.
Specifically, and if you go to the first episodes, like the first volume, that will be the most different because the second volume we were already in Golden when we were recording it, so that would have matched probably because I was doing her every day.
Mhm.
Oh, that sounds terrible. I was doing her voice every day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
staying.
Aaron, you've got like a great range. I just played through Dragon's Dogma, the Dark Arisen expansion, and you're a character in that very important character. And
I was so excited that you played it because I was so proud of that performance.
yeah, I mean, I was on Twitter. I was telling you like, oh my God, I just ran into Orla. That's you. I mean, it's like, wow, what a perform. I mean, it was like you talk to this character a lot. I mean, you guys don't know, Dragon's Dogma is it's an RPG by Capcom. I guess it's kind of like a Skyrim meets Dark Souls kind of thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You run into this character, and Aaron plays the character, and the setting is very bleak. This very dark sort of setting, and the character totally sets the tone. She's the first character you run into that takes you to spirits you away to this island or whatnot, and just really sets the tone for the whole game. And I couldn't believe it was you when I heard her talking, because it's like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like this kind of Welsh sort of accent, and you had like a deeper voice. But
Yeah, and that was an amazing because the writing for that was so gorgeous, like it was so poetic. The way it was amazing. That was an amazing. We planned on recording that over 2 sessions, but I locked and loaded her so completely. We managed to finish everything in 1 session, which is that doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, we
Wow.
Whoa, that blows my mind.
Just so
session.
in the zone, you just can't break that
Yeah,
focus.
because
We should just get this right now.
it was just beautiful. It was so it rolled off of once I locked in her character, that kind of yeah, exactly as you described her. Once I locked her in, it was almost it fit the writer, whoever wrote it was a genius because it fit so beautifully. It just rolled off my tongue.
Yeah, the writing is beautiful in there. It has like, I don't want to say like a Shakespearean, but it has like this kind of like old King James kind of like ought and thou and all of that.
It totally was Shakespearean in that epic kind of beautiful. Oh no, I totally feel that. I'm so glad someone played it. Yay!
Oh,
They probably don't need it, but we can probably shout out 8-4 because I think it's those guys who did that. So.
Yeah. A lot of people on GAF played that too, and a lot of Persona fans played it. Actually, this is kind of silly, but I know a guy, and I said, hey, Chie's actor is in this, just give it a shot. Ended up totally loving it. He went out and bought it and like totally loved it. Was like, oh my God, this game is so sick. It is like really good, and Orla is beautiful. So yeah.
I'm
very grateful for that part.
I actually had a question about. I was just looking through your IMDb when you said you come on the business. Yeah.
I heard it.
You heard it, yeah. Yeah, all the Yukon blood coming through. And anyways, the one game I used to play tons, not anymore. I kicked the addiction. Was League of Legends, and I had no idea. I had no idea that you did Janna, but you also did the champion I played all the time, which was Sona. And that supports Sona, best champion. But I was wondering what was working with Riot way back then like? Well,
first of all, nobody knew who they were, right? It was at the beginning, and I wasn't really working for Riot. I was working for the studio that Riot hired. So I was working with people I work with all the time. The director I work with all the time. He called me in for this game, which you don't get told the title really, and you barely know your characters. And then the director fills you in on who the characters are and what their motivation is, what their intention is. we record the lines and then you leave, and you have no idea if a game is going to be popular or not. Like it was just one of the many games I recorded that year. Who knew it was going to turn into what it's turned into?
Yeah, literally the most popular game in the world.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
So amazing.
Sona always gets banned from tournaments too because she's considered like one of the best characters. So like they choose the top players select, okay, we're gonna ban this player, and so many times Sona gets banned because she's so good. So yeah, I just had to bring that up because I always played as Sona. But
awesome. That's awesome.
Anyway,
oddly enough, in Persona 4 Arena, Chie is like absolutely top tier. And at Evo, the big international tournament that's happening this July. Yeah, I can't wait because I'm competing in it. I can't wait to go there and play.
It would have fun. I really wanted to go for the Skullgirls community because of everything that everybody did.
That's happened. Yeah.
It was such a big deal. But I happen to be going to Australia the first weekend in July for OzCon, and then I'm doing San Diego Comic-Con, and Evo's right in the middle, and I just need 5 days to recover before I can't do 2 cons. I couldn't go to Evo and work that month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need
Aaron,
to have time to work.
Who are you in Skullgirls?
Oh, I play
Parasol.
Parasol.
Parasol's great.
Okay.
Winners don't do drugs. That's my favorite line that she says.
She kind of looks like Mitsuru a little bit.
That's like some old school arcade, like
she's got a palette swap for Mitsuru too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
anyway,
neat. Yeah.
So you want to go into linguistics, Armada?
Yeah, if you guys don't mind. I mean, I have to get a nice big preface on this one, so grab a drink.
Away.
What I'm going to talk about is kinesics, okay? And kinesics is basically body language. It's like it's a study in which certain body movements and gestures serve as a form of nonverbal communication, which is absolutely key to human communication. Actors on a screen in a film or a show, they can move with their body and their hands and their eyes and their face and use all those tools to get communication across, to get emotions across and things like that. And so you'd think when someone's voice acting a character and people are looking at yeah, totally different.
People are limited. They have to move their bodies, their hands, their face in an appropriate manner in which is acceptable for the viewer, somebody watching. Whereas I get to move my body, my hand, my face in any particular way I need to get the sound to come out to support the intention of the scene that I'm in. For example, if I am in a life-death situation and I'm urging my cohorts, we've got to go, hurry, we've got to go, then I need to use my body to act as a conductor to get to mock up that feeling of what my body would feel like if I were in that situation. It may not look like it would look if I needed to do it on camera, because I have to use my imagination to put myself there. So it could be my left arm sticking out way out to the left for no apparent reason and my right leg jiggling. You don't know what my body is doing to get me to that place in my imagination, but my body is supporting it like a conductor. Totally different body movements from a camera actor. And it frees me up. I can do ridiculous things like to do Make Hanker on Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I literally have to stick my butt out in kind of like a really sway back, and I have to put my teeth out just so I can sound like May Canker. You would never get away with that on camera, but that's what I have to do because my characters are larger than life. They're not realistic, and I feel that, it's an amazing art form to do television and film acting, because I think, oh, how limiting. Because when I did TV and film, I really didn't like the restriction of it. It didn't fit my personality to be like, okay, and don't move, and just use your eyes, and just, and barely even talk, and, and it's a whole other style and art form, and I do not have the patience for it.
Well, you just answered one of the parts of my question. Thanks. I was going to go into that. Like, if you don't, if you're not moving your body in the way that a television actor would with the camera on them, how are you doing it to sort of get to be heard, to get these to elicit these emotions and whatnot. And you're telling us that like your body becomes an instrument almost to evoke these things. That is really cool, and I'd like to see that because I bet it looks really goofy and weird and
Interesting
awesome.
contrast.
And depending on the actor, each actor has their own things that they do. Like some actors sit when they record, and their body movements are hilarious because I don't know how they do it sitting. And like I'm terrible because I stand, but sometimes I get my feet involved, and you can't be moving your feet when you're behind a microphone. So it depends on the age of my character. The younger my character is, the more I do a pee-pee dance, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of that. I gotta stand, my feet planted. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so great. The second part of my question was going to be, okay, scientists, they look into this, kinesics phenomenon, and they look into it a lot, and they say, okay, well, when you can only hear somebody's voice, you'd imagine that your ears become hyper-focused, but some of the studies that have been done are showing that that's typically not the case, that your ears don't become hyper-focused, and so synapses in your brain are trying to make connections to your visual receptors, even though when you're playing, let's say Persona 4, there's a static sprite of the character on a static background. Yeah. And so, your eyes are like, oh man, I'm looking for something to do. My brain is trying to make these connections and my ears are not coming up to this level. So my question would be, when you are voice acting a character, do you have to enunciate and exaggerate things that you wouldn't normally do in a normal, a regular conversation?
Not at all. You'll notice even in my performance as Chie, she slurs some shit because they let me do it really, like some of her stuff I didn't want it to sound like I was reading it off a screen. I want it to sound like she's a real human being. So the beautiful thing is, it's not about whether you enunciate or pronunciate. I mean, some characters do that because that's, like Parasol in Skullgirl, she's a princess. So I had her, she was definitely more clear when she spoke. But that was because she was a princess. There's a motivation behind it. Mm-hmm. I think what's more important is the more the actor uses their imagination, I think that carries in the sound. And in that sound, I think sound is a really powerful thing. And whatever intention I put out through my imagination using the sound of my voice as an instrument, the receiver, whoever is watching the screen and listening, is going to receive that. That's an energy, and it triggers the receiver's imagination. And it doesn't matter if you're seeing the same imaginative thing that I was seeing, but it'll be triggered. Your imagination is going to be triggered in a different level, and you're going to see the movement even though there isn't any movement, because that's the intention. That's when you see something really creative, it puts both parties, the artist who does the painting and the person who's standing and looking at the painting, both are engaged in a creative moment where one is giving, one is receiving, and it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're blowing my mind right now. You're blowing my mind with how smart you are. Like, oh my God, this is awesome because and what you're talking about is pragmatics, that sort of connection, that symbiotic connection between the listener and the speaker and whatnot. And pragmatics really is about the context in which language is used. And yes, it's like it. At what point do you feel that it is an art? Because there's science to it, but the way I kind of see the voice acting side is like it is such an art, because when you're delivering that line or that voice or whatnot, a connection is being made to the listener, and it's becoming such a vivid image in their mind through the way that you're doing a voice. I feel
It's only in the last 10 years that people have separated voice acting from acting. It's no different. Right. That's right. The problem is that people have isolated voice acting as its only voice, and it is not. And that is why so many people try to get into this business and don't do well, because they're thinking of it as a separate business from acting. It is entertainment, the entertainment industry. It is acting at its core. It requires training. It requires that being able to unleash that creative force within that uses your imagination to become another character. Not even become another character. Honor the fact that somebody wrote a character and brought it to life on the page, and your job is to translate it from the page into human live form so that someone else sitting and receiving it will get it, will really get it. Whether or not they like it is not important. It's about whether they receive it and have a reaction, whether it's positive, negative, whatever reaction it's going to be. So bringing it back, it's not really a science at all, although there are technical aspects to it. It is a creative art form that has, just like in any form of art, even if you're knitting, that's a creative art form, because you've got the entire thing. You're going to make a sweater, and
Right,
it's going to take a certain amount of time to get there, and you have to know all the technical aspects to complete it, but you have to have that beautiful, amazing gift that every human being has been given, which is that creative spark within to imagine what the finished product looks like. That beautiful, whatever it is in your life, if you can creatively imagine it, then it will be, and all you have to do are the technical things to get you there. But it's that imagination first. That's the source.
Right. Wow, that's really inspiring too.
Yeah.
No kidding, right?
Aaron, so badass. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's why my website is erinfitzbadass.com.
well, there we go. Absolutely.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah, no, that's gonna blown too. Jeez.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
great.
Gosh, I don't think there's any question that we could ask that's gonna get an awesome answer like that again, because that was pretty incredible. I can't wait to actually listen to this podcast again, because that was really blowing my mind. Because Aaron, I'm not an actor, and so there's things that I don't know, and I only know like the science part of it, because that's what I studied. And so to hear you say that, it was like, whoa, that is why that thing is what it is, and this is where this motivation.
I'm just going to take it one step further. Science is an art form.
Mhm.
Science is an art form. Every scientist has to use their imagination to go to places that nobody has gone before. That's using your creative imagination. And then you go about the steps to proving it.
Yeah.
That is an art form.
Well, yeah, they have.
In my opinion.
Most scientists are in what they're inspired by what they watched as kids, what they were driven by art to, strive into science and whatnot. But
Yeah. Good point. Back to that spark.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm gonna do another question from the comments. We do have a lot of them.
Let's do it.
Okay. Did you ever imitate Chie's fighting style in the game?
I did a photo shoot on Sunday in which the first half of it I pretended to be Chie, and I suck ass at trying to fight like her because I can't get my knee up as high as her. But I was doing all my Chie kind of moves, and in real life, I don't know if that was meant to be an in real life thing, but yes.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Chie's a kickboxing Grand Prix master, obviously. So, not many people can emulate that. So,
Wait. Is that in the fiction that she's a kickboxing Grand Prix champion?
no, I made that up.
Oh, okay. I would believe it.
No, not quite. But I always refer to her as the kickboxing carnivore, and she's not even a kickboxer. So,
She might as well be. I mean,
Kung Fu, dude.
Yeah, exactly right. What's I got another one here. This is from Pokemaster Link. What's your favorite role that you've done? And he said, I really enjoyed your work as Poka in Eternal Sonata.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that shout out to Poka. She was so heartbreaking. I am drawn first and foremost to comedic characters that make me laugh personally. They really light up my heart and fill me with tremendous amounts of love. So Chie and Abby Abominable, and I play this total asshole on Wild Grinders named Stubford, and he's such a dick, and he makes me laugh my ass off. Like, the lines they give him are brilliant. So those three are tied for first place right now in my heart. I couldn't pick one over the other because each one speaks to a different aspect of my personality. So... But yeah, comedic characters are my favorite. Although in the last year, and particularly, I have like 15 games that are going to come out in the next 2 years, and I've been doing some seriously amazing dramatic characters that I'm like my work on Dragon's Dogma with Ulra. Like, I'm really proud of that work because that's not my comfort zone. That is outside of my comfort zone, and I'm really grateful that casting directors and directors are pushing me in that area so I can grow. I think my strength is that cartoony kind of stuff, but my I'm going to stick with my answer. I'm going to stick with it because I have thousands of characters and it's really hard to pick.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, if you can narrow it down to just 3, even, that's perfect.
Yeah. And that could change tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like right now, today.
Yeah. So, did you have any more right now, Armada, or should I go to another?
Yeah,
Or-
go to another one. Please.
Okay, someone asked this on Twitter. Of all the female characters you voiced, who is it you feel you connect with the most with mindset? Within mindset.
I would go back to those 3 that I just named.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Yeah, God, I'm like picking the best ones.
That's like me outing myself as an asshole because I am. I have that stubborn side of me. Like, it's crazy when I do his lines, and I also do the really mean sister in that cartoon, and it's too crazy. I'm like, oh, I do have that side to myself.
No, so what?
I think
Ron,
we all do at one point or another.
Yeah.
that's just
You got
human nature.
to identify it, harness it.
That's right. Just like Chie, right? The shadow
Yeah.
Chie. Stubford is my shadow Aaron.
Yeah, exactly.
That was what kind of a when you guys had to do that, what was that like when you had to go
Oh
from,
my
doing like
God.
normal Chie and then you do the switch up? Because comparably, right, like
Dude.
comparably, it's like 10 times, it's like 100 times the lines as regular Chie, and then the lines as shadow Chie. So what
It
kind of
was
like did that throw you
seriously
off?
No, not at all. Because I think I do, okay. In my life, and I can only speak for myself, I find that whatever I'm focusing on in terms of personal growth, I end up living through my jobs. Like when I got cast as Chie and we started doing those scripts, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm battling with in my personal, growth area was,
Oh.
facing those aspects of myself that I wasn't proud of, that I was constantly judging myself for, and I was beating myself up for them. And it was really intense to record that because I was like, the universe was telling me, Erin, pay attention to what she is experiencing because you got to feel it I had to feel it being her and being the shadow Chie. I got to experience both sides of that coin. And then to take it at home and have it unfold in my personal growth area of going, okay, so how do I come to terms with that within myself? Because I want to face that shadow side of me and accept it and not call it out like, you're not a part of me, because I was doing that. I was totally doing that. It was deep, man.
Yeah, everybody is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up because that is the power of Persona. You know, I mean, that's what makes that game so different than all the other ones. That is what is
Totally.
blowing that
Totally.
game's IP up all over the world right now. Like, I mean,
Totally.
if you would have asked anybody 6 years ago or 10 years ago, hey, what do you think about Persona or whatnot? It would have just, okay, it's this game and it's got these heavy notions and whatnot and these ideas in it. And now the IP is blowing up all over the place because Persona is deep in that level. And Erin, you made a really good point about how it was affecting you in your personal life and you went home.
Absolutely.
I would guarantee you that everybody that played Persona felt that way after they saw those characters. And and I guess the way I can put it is that the game provides such a strong avenue for introspection that you cannot find that in any other product anywhere. And I mean, books, movies, sure, those things can do that, but this is our hobby. This is like our enthusiast thing is like video games.
In a lecture-y way. Like, I felt Catherine was a real lecture game on cheating. I'm like, really? Do I need a lecture? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really wanted to dump the girlfriend because she was coming off as such a bitch. Sorry, Michelle Ruff, I love you, but you were seriously a bitch.
You're
As-
an
Yeah.
amazing.
like,
So,
go for Laura, go for Laura. But what I liked about the Persona stuff was that it wasn't beating you over the head. It was like real serious, challenges that we all experience on the daily that we don't talk about. We don't talk about that stuff, but we're going through it. We journal it. We write it. We experience stuff in our dream state that's directly, like, what's the difference between going into your dream state and having those experiences than the Persona team going into the television, into the other world? You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's just such a beautiful way of having that support in the game and then going about your daily life and going, oh man, if they could do it, I can do it too. It's kind of kick-ass.
It's
and
really,
it was
really
one
well
of the
realized.
that really made you question things like friendship and societal relationships because it has such a strong, and we actually recorded an episode about this, about Jungian philosophy. It has such a strong basis in Carl Jung, and a little bit of Freudian psychology and a little bit of Rousseau. And I think that because its underpinnings are so strong and so philosophical, yet it's bringing them to you in such a relative way, like your high school life. Everybody went to high school or whatnot. Persona sort of like gives you this avenue to relive your high school days in a way. And it's like, that is so intimate. That is such an intimate game. I mean, wow, the medium. If anybody were to say what is so good about video games, as a medium, I would say I would point to Persona and say that is it. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a strong game, and it's
it's
so
a great
cool
example.
to see that everywhere. You see that on review sites. Just last year, when it came out in 2012 for the Vita, it is winning the Game of the Year awards on many sites. It was for 4 days, and you guys, I know all you NeoGAF guys saw this in Kuru Finway's review thread. Persona 4 Golden was in the top 5 in Metacritic. Now, sure, we can say whatever to about Metacritic. However, as an aggregate for all the reviews out there, it's pretty damn amazing that game, just within its week of release, before a week of release, had
I remember that.
It was really well received, and I believe it was the highest rated portable game of that year. And I remember there was a lot of media that were fudging it. Like, even though it was a re-release, a lot of media fudged it and still put it in their top 10 for the year because it's just that compelling. It was worth it.
So compelling.
And you even see like a lot of people who would on the forums say like, oh, I've never played JRPGs before and blah blah blah, and like, I played Persona and like I fell in love with it. It's just like.
You get that all the time. If you go to the open thread on NeoGAF, like almost every other post, like every page, there's probably at least 20 posts that say that I never played this before, or I don't like the genre, and I fell in love with it. The characters, the story, everything.
That's the writers, right? I mean, there were people that sat down and created that. I mean, let's just for a moment, all of us just honor those human beings that managed to get this made in this day and age. That's a spectacular feat. Persona 3, it's a complete, they went way different direction than Persona 3. It's nowhere near as dark, and that's a huge risk. They risked alienating their entire Persona 3 fan base.
For sure. Yeah.
But they ended up
the original too, the first one, the second one too.
It's great. It's incredibly written, and I almost kind of associate it as it's like the ultimate like it's like the John Hughes like dream. Like, this was like if he was to do a video game, this would have been the one that he would have done. It's totally that Breakfast Club. It's that Breakfast Club formula for like 80 hours or however long it takes, and it's like even like just like Chie specifically, and I think this about like all the girls in the game, because you really have to, like, where we're coming from, like from video games in particular, I'm gonna have a much easier time finding a novel or a book or a TV show with a really strong female lead, and girls like Chie and Yukiko and Rise, who really don't get to spend that much time with women like that in games a lot. So when Persona 4 comes around and every girl in the game is just as deep and introspective and really well written and believable and entertaining, and you feel them as a person.
Like, there was a journey for each character. Like, each character grew a little bit. That's badass. That's just so. I think that's the future of gaming. I think Persona 4 series has raised the bar and is now challenging other games to do more and do it more.
One thing I've noticed a lot, like, there's been so many people that the basis for any story that people are going to connect with is believable characters. Plot's not important. Stephen King famously said that he hates plot. It gets in the way, and that I think that shines through in the game, because like so many people. I mean, anyone that's on GAF, and I don't know if you've seen this kind of thing before, Aaron, but there's so many people that this game really touched me, and I was in I've seen so many touching stories about how people say, like, this game changed my life, and I felt so sad when it was over, and
I didn't want it to end. It's like, oh,
totally.
Yeah,
totally. It's like a good book.
It's like a good book. That's the analogy I always make, especially
because you spend all of those hours with it. It's the only thing. Television isn't the same. Movies aren't the same because you only spend an hour and a half. But a book, you spend the same amount of hours into a book and a book series that you do in a video game. So the love that you have, like, it's like the never-ending story when the kid was Atreyu. You know what I mean? That's how it is when we play a video game and when we read a book that we fall in love with. And it is about the characters. It's not about it's about how the characters act upon the world around them and other people, and how they react for the same thing. It's really, that's the interplay, and it's how we see ourselves in them, their flaws, their what they're working on, so that we can more easily accept our flaws and forgive ourselves and forgive those around us so that we can become better human beings and be kinder to each other. Bottom line.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the characters. The characters, all
Yeah.
of them have a good amount of depth to them, so you can they're more relatable in that sense, and
It's really that genre, the role playing game genre, like Dragon's Dogma, like he just mentioned, like that genre. That's the one that I feel like, because I always make that analogy, the book game analogy, because I think it just fits, because you get with the character, you meet them, they go on a journey. There are characters in Persona 4 that I didn't even like initially, but when I got to
Right.
the end, I couldn't get enough of them. Like Yosuke, I was kind of annoyed by Yosuke for probably like
Yeah.
15, 20 hours, but when I got to the end, when I got to the end of it, it was like, you know what, Yosuke, this really is my brother. Like Yosuke really is my man. After
That
everything
is
that we've
so
been through,
cool.
this really is my
Yeah.
main guy.
Yuri
Um,
would love to hear that.
it's great, and it's just like that genre, because RPGs are typically like maybe like 4 or 5 times longer than your typical game. Because your typical game is maybe like 10 to 12 hours if you're lucky. Persona
Yeah.
4 is like an 80-hour game, and you
Yeah.
totally do get that novel feel, because you sit in, and it's not going to be a short ride. Like even now, if you find other games that have like sort of really loyal, like dedicated, loving followings like Persona 4, a lot of them are RPGs. It's a lot of the Final Fantasies and games like Dragon's Dogma and a lot of like the BioWare games, because it's the same type of thing. You get it, but you don't finish it for like a month or two, right? If you're playing it for like 40 minutes every night, like it takes you a long time. And I remember like I got P4G like day one in November. It was like Thanksgiving weekend. I was with my parents and everything, and I didn't even finish that until like the end of January. And it totally was like that. It was like this whole journey, and when it ended, it was wonderful, and it was awful.
Yeah, it hits hard. Like I remember there was one infamous thread on the Persona Reddit and Persona subreddit, and he said he knew he was right at the end of the game. He's like, I can't leave. He said, I don't want to beat it because I don't want to say bye. He was actually like worried about getting depressed. Like,
No, I understand that. I will put off the last book in a series for the same reason.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, you
I
know,
don't want it to be over.
And I you know what? And I noticed that, because right as I got to when you get to Christmas, when it gets to like wintertime in the game, like right around January, I noticed that once I got up there, I stopped playing. I was playing every night, and then I got to January, and I would stop, and I would play like one night, and then I'd wait like 2 or 3 days, and then I'd play some more. Like I knowingly stretched, like dwindled out, and like stretched out the last stretch of that game, because I was like, I know this is coming to an end, and I don't want that to happen, and I don't know how to stop it.
Yeah, I
Right?
totally
Yeah.
relate.
It's
perfect.
All right, more questions. More questions.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say we've got one more. Let's say, okay, we've got one on Twitter. Okay, Brian Hall says, "What's it like to be the greatest?" Hashtag you're the greatest.
that's
I am Brian Hall. I am simply a reflection of you.
Okay, there we go. The shadow self.
Ooh.
Uh,
Thank you, Brian. That was really sweet.
okay.
saying.
All right. If someone else has one, we're going through them pretty quick.
Hey Jello, do you have anything to say? You've been quiet, buddy.
I'm always quiet. I'm the quiet one.
You were the
the
number one Chie
question?
fan.
Yeah.
The number
what?
one
You're like the number one Chie fan.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
questions?
yeah.
army.
I'm here. This is the moment, hun.
Wait, we should really, you know what? Like, let that sink in. We've got
Yeah.
her right here.
It's time,
Yeah,
Jello.
before I go, whatever little thing that you have been resisting, you will ask.
I honestly have nothing, unfortunately.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's a
That was a-
lie. He wanted to
was a
ask you a
terrible
question.
build-up.
That's okay. The truth is, I think we're getting plenty. I think we're getting the most in-depth answers, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is great.
So,
Oh my God, you're blowing my mind. You're so smart.
yeah,
Oh my God.
this has been
No,
wonderful.
no, honey. I'm just old. That's all that is. Life experience.
Fair enough.
You're not old. Get out of here with
No,
that.
I'm not old. I'm good. I'm
Well,
perfect.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good answer.
yeah, that's definitely the right thing.
I have excellent life experience points.
All right. I've got one from Macross that says, "How does it feel to be a well-known voice actress and have a fan base? How do you think it affects the gaming and voice acting industries?" Does that affect your work
That's
at all?
a really good question. What a great question. I kind of separate myself from. I know that that statement is true. To mentally, I understand it, but I don't take it to a personal level. If that makes any sense. Like I see when it comes to my job, I actually, at least in the public, like with my fan page and my websites and stuff like that, when I'm interacting with the amazing people who play or watch the products that I'm in, I don't consider that me. I consider that like Erin Fitzgerald, my product. I'm a marketing that's my secret identity. Erin Fitzgerald is out there and she did because seriously, the fans aren't interested in me. It's not me, Erin Fitzgerald, that people are interested in. It's the characters, which and this is a really big distinction because for me growing up, I was in love with the cartoon characters. Learning who the voices were years later, which I didn't. I totally was in denial that humans did their voices until I was in my 20s and started doing cartoon work. I'm like, what? No, these characters are real. I really do believe that. I believe that people are in love with Chie, and I just happen to be the person that gets to bring Chie to life. So it's not really me, it's Chie that people love. That I can handle, and that makes me feel fine about it. And I don't feel like a celebrity or anything like that, but I feel Chie is a celebrity. I feel like the characters themselves are famous, but I just happen to be, like the puppeteer who operates them.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Totally, it absolutely
Yeah.
does.
So that was the first part of it. What was that was the
The second, how do you think this affects the gaming and voiceover industries, or does it affect it?
I think it is beginning to affect it because I think the fans, if it weren't for the fans, I wouldn't have work. And I think the parts that I've been booking lately, I think that's because fans talk about me in forums and I give the fans anything that I'm in that comes out in the next 2 years, give all yourselves credit for getting me into those products because I promise you a year ago I probably wouldn't have been called in to do them. And I think that having my name out there like that in the way that the world is it just happens. Right? It's a byproduct of this new industry. I mean, the way the industry has been unfolding. And I'm eternally grateful to the fans for that, which is why I make myself so available on social media and for interviews because the fans are the reason I have a green card. The fans are the reason I work. So you guys are really my employers. Because if you were talking about me, I probably wouldn't be booking. I might do something, but not because then they would just be like, oh, we'll just give you a small part. But when your name starts to, resonate places, they go, oh, well, maybe we'll give her this part. Because normally because I can do 1,000 voices, a lot of projects will just hire me so that they don't have to hire 20 people to do the same work that I can do by myself. And I save companies money because I have this that happens to be my talent with my instrument is that I can do a ridiculous amount of characters. Even in the same age group, I'm able to do that. I don't know. I think it's a genetic thing that I got in the vocal cords I got from my father. It's not something that it just happens to be that way. So I think that I'd be working. I would definitely be working, but I wouldn't necessarily be getting the juicy roles I'm getting now.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that,
I'm
That-
glad you
you know,
mentioned how integrated you are into your community because it's absolutely true. When I set up my my Twitter account for my band, which is Armada, I was on there and I draw. That's one of my hobbies. I draw fan art, and I was drawing some stupid picture or whatever, some silly picture, and I thought, hey, yeah, there's Erin Fitzgerald, the voice of Chie, character I absolutely really like and whatnot. I'll just send you this fan art or whatever. And you were collecting all of it, and not only were you doing that, you were like sharing it with everybody who was following you, and you had just such a you were so tapped into your community. It was really strong, and it made such a huge impression on me. Like I was like, wow, she gives a damn. That is so cool. Like, yeah.
I can't draw to save my life, and anybody who takes the time to draw any of the characters I'm in, or even dress up as any of the characters that I get to play, that's a big deal to me. That someone took. I know how long it takes to do something like that, cosplay or art, and I don't have that kind of time or patience, to say the least. That I really honor that. And if you're going to take the time to spend 80 hours listening to me, the least I can do is really take the time to look at the amazing artwork that people create, which I love anyway. It's such an easy thing. It's not work to me at all. I have a passion for it. And that's why I have a Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, just so I can have all the different venues of trolling you guys and finding
Oh no.
You know, I really want to say
Uh-oh.
also,
I want to go searching for this stuff. Come on, people, send it direct.
Yeah.
I really want to say, like, and I know that you probably know this, but like people who are really into games right now, and especially in this age where people are really into storytellers. And if you talk to people, a lot of people that make games, it's what they're interested in. They want to make a game that's fun to play and compelling, but also really tells a story. The developers want to do this, and I know like people like me, like one of my favorite TV shows is 24. So like I have no problem identifying that Kiefer Sutherland is a favorite actor of mine. So we kind of, a lot of us who are kind of having the same feelings about games and the stories and the characters in them, we want to make that connection. We want to put the names to the faces and know who you guys are. We want to know you. We want to know the Jennifer Hales. We want to know the Troy Bakers, the Yuri Lowenthal's. Like we want to know you guys because we kind of have that same feeling. The whole like it's not really right that it's been separated. There's actors, there's voice actors. No, there's really just good, passionate actors who get the job done. And we want to get you guys out there because we feel like it's almost like it's really not fair. Because
and
most
that
of my
level of
favorite voice
enthusiasm that you're
actors
talking
are
about.
You know, I
Sebastian-
don't really care that much whether or not we get out there, but I do really love that because my MO is I just want to work. It
Totally.
doesn't matter to me whether it's a lead part or if it's another, 20 different, spear checkers to the left. I just want to work. I just want to be able to work and do what I love to do. However, this passion that I'm seeing where people are like, I mean, that just opens my heart so much. Like it just, I just don't even know.
There's followings out there.
That's
Like
why I started doing conventions, right? Like I got to meet you guys. I got to see you guys in person now. It has gotten to that point where I can't just, I have to interact with you guys human to human.
Oh,
Yeah.
You say the most beautiful things. You are so poetic.
It's deep though. We've gotten to the point where like just last week there was a thread on NeoGAF that said like, oh, who are your favorite voice actors, and you have people coming in and saying like, oh, I like such and such because they do this character and that character, and then who's your favorite male, who's your favorite female. Like it's like in this day and age, I just think it's really cool that people just straight up follow voice actors the same way that they follow like the same people that they see like on TV or at the movie theater. They follow these same people because they like the way that they like their set of voices or the way that they convey a character. Like it's really
And I
getting
wish you guys could see them. I wish you guys could see these amazing actors when they work, because seriously, it's a mind blower. It's one thing to hear it. It's another thing to see it live, to see that amazing, especially when somebody's doing multiple characters and their range and just how you can see their imagination going and whatever they're doing with their body. And it's just, you can tell the difference between somebody who's a master at what they do and somebody who's new in an instant. You can greenies, you can sniff out a mile away, because somebody who's a master at what they do get lost in their performance. They're not aware that they're even behind a microphone.
it's not even an act. It's more of a transformation.
It is absolutely. It's such. I am so blessed to work with the people that I work with, and I still haven't even worked with my dream cast yet. Like I really want to be in the room with Candy Milo and Kevin Michael Richardson and Phil Lamar. I just want to be Mark Hamill. I want to just stand there and watch them.
Mark Hamill.
You know what? I noticed that. I saw you. I think I've seen you tweeting before about wanting to work with some of these people, and I remember thinking like, how amazingly humble.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God, I'm not humble, honey. I don't have a humble bone in my body. Not even going to pretend on that one. No. But I do know the people I want to just sit in the room and just gawk at and be like, holy crap. Because it's like, whatever you are good at doing, you want to study under the masters. You want to be in that room and see what they do. Because I think we never stop growing in whatever it is we're passionate about. And even if you get to a certain level of mastership with something, there's always somewhere else to go. You can always get better. There's always more to learn. It's such a cool, life is cool that way.
It is. Yeah.
That is really fascinating. I mean, wow, it's so cool that people in general they're becoming more enthusiastic. Like Ron, you were mentioning this, that people that are playing these games and watching these shows and whatnot, they want to have a relationship with the actors. They really do. And maybe not necessarily they want to influence the actors or anything like that, but they just want to it's like they want to honor actors by saying like, you really touched me when I had, something was going on, like my mother died and I played Persona 4 and it really made a huge impact on me and you really touched my life. How can I honor you in some sort of way and make like a connection to you in your craft, like like the craft that you have given. And I think that that's on the rise, especially since, like there's gamers everywhere, and there's people that watch shows and stuff like that everywhere. And I think that with the internet too, like it's making the internet sort of making the world smaller, so it's bringing actors and artists like you closer to us. And there's like this really sort of like strange relationship where like I guess like a passion for the art, for the game, for the acting, for the characters and whatnot. A person that is just a gamer who, I don't know, maybe like in their daily life they're doing paperwork all day, and they come home and they play this game, they can sort of have like this, like I don't know, like a vicarious experience through an actor.
It's not vicarious. You can't belittle the role of a gamer. The role of the gamer is the most important role in the relationship between game makers and game, right? Because if it weren't for the gamer, none of us would exist. So the gamer is even though you're not getting paid for the job, and in fact you have to pay for the game, you have the most important part in our process. You're the reason I stand behind a microphone and do what I do, and I don't want to suck. You're the reason why I pull up my socks, even if I'm feeling sick, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to phone this in because some kid somewhere is going to watch this game when they're in a shitty mood, and I'm going to make them laugh today, or I'm gonna make them, that intention is really strong. It's really personal. And I think the internet has brought us closer where it's not really celebrity, even though it's a popularity to some degree, but it makes it more. It fuels me for my job. I get to see immediately the reaction of the performance I'm doing. So I know when I'm doing something right. I know when I can adjust something, and it makes me want to do even better. It makes me want to give even more, because it's a beautiful giving and receiving. And if somebody wasn't receiving it, by gamers receiving the game and playing the game, you're giving back to the entire, from the designers, the programmers, the ridiculous hours that the game makers put in. Like they put in I don't know how they
crunch time.
With the circles around their eyes, the studio tans they all bear, they're just amazing. You make it all worthwhile. That's such a huge role in the process. It's no such thing as just a gamer. That's the most important part.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
He just got told, Armada. Damn.
Well, hey, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know. This is really great. I think
that's right on point.
Absolutely. People that are going to be listening to this, they might not be hearing this either, and this is a real treat. This is a real intellectual and sort of like intimate treat to have you as a guest and to say this kind of stuff to reinforce if there was any doubt.
We might have to like actually transcribe some of this and put like quotes in the post on NeoGAF so people can know, because this is like a mad, like we're getting schooled.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I had no idea.
It's great.
This is incredible. Really, this is.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I had a question. Because I know this is kind of becoming bigger with games and things. And I noticed you mentioned sort of the element of your physicality and how different it is when you're on camera and when you're off. And I'm curious, have you done or would you like to do any motion capture?
I would kill to do motion capture. I've auditioned for a couple of things. No one's ever given me the opportunity to. I don't know if it's because I'm a juicy girl or because it seems that they're hiring really stick thin kind of on camera type girls. So I'm like, because I know that the guys, it doesn't seem to matter what size they are, but the girls, it seems to make a difference. And I am, built like Parasol. So that's just real.
That's ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. But I would love to do motion capture, even if it was just once and I found out I sucked at it. But I think I would be amazing because I studied movement in university and did all sorts of acrobatics and tumbling and crap. I know I would be good at it.
Yeah, I figured. I think a lot of that also has to do like with the fact that like when they are doing like the capturing of the motion, the specific model is so intensive. I think they probably do that to save time, because it's like because once you've got that wireframe, you're just putting a texture over that basically.
Yeah, the skinniest girls have to fill them out a little bit as opposed to like delete.
Exactly, especially if you're motion capturing something where the character is probably younger. I'm assuming that has something to do with it. So that's a tough situation.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sounds
people,
good to me.
we definitely need more people like you doing the motion capture thing and really, really bringing those guys to life because that stuff is just getting incredible. Like the uses of that, like lately, more and more are just getting better and better.
Yeah. I would
Absolutely.
love
I'm gonna make some kind of quote for you, Aaron, because I'm just sort of taking it all in this entire podcast when you were talking
Soak it
about
up.
like like movement and everything like that, and you said you did that in university and how it helps you get voice acting across. And I was thinking, what do you think about this? A conduit of communication is a body in motion. Erin Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I just really like that quote about the
that.
game coming
Said that.
first.
That's deep. You should
Yeah.
put your name
But
after that. That's brilliant.
what did you? Sorry, Aaron, I didn't hear what you said. Ron.
I think
Me?
you should put your name after that. That I didn't say that. You said that. That's fantastic.
All right, there you go, guys. I said it. I made it up. I'm putting my
That was
name on
great.
it.
Conduit
Oh,
of communication with
A conduit of
experts.
communication is a body in motion. Is basically it
Beautiful.
it's like I came in with the preconception that it wasn't that way, but Aaron, you were telling me yeah, when people are in there speaking and everything like that, the body is so important, and it's not as restricted as it would be on camera in a TV show. And I would pay a lot of money to have like Atlas or whoever just have a camera set up in there with like Yuri Lowenthal and you and anybody else while you're acting, just to see that, because that would be so amazing to me, like as a linguist. Like that would just be so amazing. Oh my gosh.
Say the quote one more time, please.
Okay, a conduit of communication is a body in motion.
See, and that is so spiritual and philosophical as well, and beyond just voice acting. Because any sort of action you take in your life, you're communicating with life. You know what I mean? And you're interacting, you're participating. It creates motion. It creates cause and effect. It's that's the
Yes.
purpose of life, right? Whatever.
Mhm.
I love that. I think that's really. I could contemplate on that for a couple of
know,
days.
right? Oh my
I could just really go deeper with that. I love it.
This is it. This is the podcast, the one that tackles the deep issues.
Levito, the Inception soundtrack goes here.
That's right. Let's
Really?
see what our dreams are like.
Wrong.
No, I'm just
Perfect.
yeah, exactly. And I'll keep
Yeah.
that in mind. I kind of had a question about the recording process between doing a Western game and an anime or an Eastern game, and I was wondering, like, when you do an anime or Persona or what have you, do you listen to like the original Japanese voice track before you do it sometimes, or?
It's totally dependent on the studio that's recording. Like I said, with the Persona series, they didn't have us listen to the Japanese right before, except for like the fighting sequences for timing.
Mhm.
In most cases, a lot of studios right now, to get more honest performances, they don't play the Japanese at all. They just let you know it needs to be shorter, it needs to be longer. But other studios that are kind of tight for budget and they bid maybe a little bit lower for their project, they don't have time for that. So you listen to the Japanese and then you match to the Japanese. And other people just want are real Japanophiles, and they want something as close to the original Japanese as possible in terms of, because they feel that the original Japanese captured the game or the anime, and they want you to really Americanize whatever that is. So it's totally different from studio to studio, from director to director, depending on what they want to do.
Okay, well, this actually segues into a question that someone asked on the blog, and that's Brian FTP asks, how does the recording process differ between fighting game, arena, and RPG, Golden, etc.?
Oh, totally different, way different. Like fighting game is like, when I say fighting game, I'm meaning something like Skullgirls, where there was a lot of fighting noises and a lot more like that. Whereas
A
the
lot of
RPG,
grunts and
there's
yells.
tons of story, totally different art form, because it's a lot more lines when you do an RPG. You just have, 3 or 4 times the amount of lines.
Okay, so it's like a more quantity thing
Yeah,
than.
it's could be a quantity thing, absolutely.
Okay. Let's see.
Because it's just like you said, it takes 80 hours to finish an RPG and maybe 10 hours to finish a fighting game.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys have a question, go for it.
I want to know, were you when you did all the Persona stuff, did they ever Or were you ever curious about? Because I know like it's English dialogue, but they still use Japanese honorifics. So like the senpai, the kun, all that
Yeah.
stuff. How did you guys take that? Did they like have a reason? Because
Well,
at this point, like I just see it as a style thing. So did you guys ask about it? Was there a reason for
of
it,
course
or?
I did, because I'm like, what am I saying? I don't even know what this means.
Right,
Because
right.
one of the directors from Atlas that would sit in, he's Japanese, so he was
Ah,
great to answer everything. So that was a specific choice by Atlas. They wanted to keep that stuff because most of the people at Atlas, like they know that you guys get it. That
okay.
most of you that are playing games that come from Atlas is so badass, right? Like they get it. They know that you
Mhm.
Totally.
guys
Yeah.
like
Totally
Japanese,
Absolutely.
do.
into the Japanese stuff. They know what you use on the blogs, and when you're, in the forums, they know you say senpai and what is the word, waifu and all that stuff, which I had to,
Oh,
you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no.
yeah, we know.
You
Ironically,
know,
yeah.
and that was
Yeah.
an interesting thing between the game and the animation, because you know how we were saying, like, like Yukiko-chan and stuff like that in the game, and they didn't put any of that in the animation. They kind of de-Japanophiled the animation
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
because it was a more Western approach.
Yeah, actually, that didn't even occur to me, but that's true. Yeah,
How you're
yep.
gonna go back and you're gonna find out.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna blow my mind once again.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I'll preface this as well. I have a colleague who he works in L2 training, and what that is he teaches people that are not English speakers, native English speakers. He teaches them not only English, but he teaches them how to replicate an accent, an English accent. Typically,
Yeah.
a neutral one, like you would hear
Yeah.
in Ohio or something like that of the United States, and um, and the reason why he does this is because these people that are going to him for L2 training are going for a very specific reason. They want to go back to their countries and they want to be on the radio or commercials or whatnot, and they want to sound like Americans. They want to have like that neutral English
Yeah.
accent, almost, I guess you could call it, whatever it is. And so what he does is he teaches a lot about how culture and language
Yeah.
are intertwined, and
Yes.
and he teaches a lot of like you can't just replicate this accent. I mean,
Nope.
you could do it, but you need to understand the culture behind it. And he does a lot of really cool things. Like he takes them on like historical trips,
Nice.
and things like that, and takes them out to restaurants and things, and he shows them a lot of different accents. Like the American South, maybe the American North, like where Jello's from,
Yeah.
and maybe the Midwest, and all these other
The
places.
what?
And yeah, you're from Philly, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on.
Totally different accent than if you were from Detroit. So
Yeah, for sure. And
Totally.
even in New
I
York,
thought
and
he was
there's so many different ones. So,
I
and he
thought
tries
was
to.
further north. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Oh,
Mid
sorry,
Atlantic.
I didn't mean to throw you off there, buddy.
Mid Atlantic.
Yeah, okay, hey, Mid Atlantic. Okay, there you go. I stand corrected. Mid Atlantic, Jello. And he
Get
and
it, get
he
it
thinks-
right, Armada. Get it
He
right.
thinks I'm sorry. He thinks this is a really big deal, and that is why he's one of the best in L2 training. It's like because
Yeah.
he goes out of his way to do this. It's like, and the way he says, like, the books, we can sit here in the studio with the books, whatever, and you can go through this 2-week course or whatnot. But
Exactly.
really, your culture going out there to the restaurants and the tours and all these other things, that is your textbook, man.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
that is it. So with that, I'm wondering, and I'm very interested that you said that you could do like 1,000, like many, many different kind of characters. I don't actually know if that is like accents or impersonations or whatnot.
Yeah, I have a
It's-
chart. I have a
Oh my
chart where I
gosh.
write down. I've written down. I've kind of named a certain range of my characters in one column, and then the next column is the age of different ages that I'm able to do, and the next column different accents of different locations, and the next column tone, where I'm going to hold it in the body, like where would that.
Okay.
So and then I have like 12 columns of different choices, and so it's like
That
a
is
choose your
amazing.
own adventure. If I want to come up with a new voice, I can go, okay, let's try this character with this age, with this body type, and this accent. It's going to come up with something completely different. And when I added them all up, the math of it would be over 1,000 different voices.
That's incredible, and I'm
Jeez.
so glad that you are very confident and you are not humble, because this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I mean, get ready for this. I actually want to know if I could ask you for maybe like another actor or an accent or something like that, and if you could do an impersonation of them, because I find it absolutely fascinating when someone can change and alter their voice as an instrument to sound completely different. And already just in this podcast, you've done that several times, and it puts such a smile on my face. Like, oh man, that's incredible. So like, could you do for us a really old lady voice? Do you have like a favorite one that you kind of go to?
What it is you're talking about, dearie, but there are several types of tea you want to be drinking on a daily basis. To clean the liver, you want the milk thistle tea with maybe a little bit of dandelion root, and then you've got it fancy.
Oh my god, that's incredible! That's incredible! Like,
Wow,
you're just able to just do that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that in a cartoon.
Mm.
I might have stolen it from June Foray.
Oh, maybe.
I had to mute my mic. I started laughing.
Oh my god,
That was great. That was great. Holy cow.
how
That
can you
was
not
really
just be like immediately like so happy to hear somebody do that? Because I know I can't do that, man. I couldn't do
Another
that.
one.
And
Let's see if I can do it twice. I don't know.
okay, are you familiar with the TV show Seinfeld?
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have that, could you do Elena from that
Yeah,
show?
I'm not gonna do impressions. I like give me characters, and then I'll just come.
Lane.
Because like, impressions are always such a fickle, and that's mimicking, and I'm not a mimic. I mean, I can mimic, but I prefer to create.
Okay. Well, how about this? Because I love the character so much and I love the voice. Could you do the older voice from Dragon's Dogma? Because it sounded nothing like Chie, and I think that people
I
should.
have to remember it. I see. This is where I'm like voice reference. Does anybody have a voice reference? Let me see.
Oh, I don't know.
I know she was. Was she? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was like that. It was
Hang on. Let me see if I can find something. I need to read something.
Sad.
Here.
Sad.
Oh no, hang on. I'll read. I just happen to have. I love Rumi's poetry, so hang on. The womb's the place where the light enters you. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Was that
really
kind
great.
of close to her?
Yeah.
I feel
Yes.
like that's
awesome.
where she was, but I don't quite recall.
No, that's
I haven't played the game, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
So.
That is so good.
That
is
blows
so
my
cool.
mind that you can just change the tempo
Yeah.
of everything of your voice just like that. It would sound like a completely different person. But I guess that's
It's
why
not, but it's not the voice, right, honey? I'm putting on the character. Like I go to where that soul of that character lives, and the character just comes out.
Absolutely.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah, that is. That's pretty good call, Armada.
Hey, do you guys have one? I don't mean to be hogging Erin.
Girl, it could be any.
Yeah, I'd like to hear as a boy, right? Like some like little like dipshit kid who's real mean and snobby and like arrogant, like some 7-year-old boy who's like, yeah, I'm the baddest dude in town.
I'm the baddest dude on the planet. You don't even know. I'm gonna tell my mom on you. You want to come over and play with my toys? You've got to pay a toll.
We can play PlayStation.
Oh, that's
So pretty good.
that's ridiculous. How about I'll do one last one. What about like Chie 10 years older?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You gotta eat more meat.
Fair enough. No, that's perfect.
It went high and it went low.
You know, she started here, but then she decided to come a little bit more here. She lost interest because she's been saying it for 10 years.
Not as enthusiastic. No.
Now she's the
You know what I mean? And she
Police
probably
force.
has had some since.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's right. Chie went on to be a cop, so she's no nonsense now.
That's right. Detective Chie.
Yeah, that's something that everyone wants to see is the follow up to Persona 4 where Chie is a cop.
I
Well,
mean,
you
it's
think
such a great idea, right?
I have a question for you. Do you think Chie will be in Persona 5?
Absolutely.
I
No.
don't.
I don't
Armada.
know. I don't know. They might
Armada.
totally have a completely different cast of characters.
That
I think they'll have a completely different cast of characters, but I think that they do a really good job of sort of like putting in an Easter egg character in their games. And Chie is, I don't know, what do you guys think? Chie Rise, who's like number one?
I don't think that they will put. I doubt that there are any characters
What?
in the game will
But
be in.
why would you doubt it though? Because in Persona 3, they took Chihiro from there, who was like, like the number one, I guess, waifu. I hate that word, and they implanted her into Persona 4.
Well, yeah, don't hate that word. I was gonna say no.
No.
They didn't take like
that
this.
cameo.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
nice.
cameo. It's a different thing altogether. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Okay, well,
Yukiko
it's not.
was in Persona
I don't
3
think
Portable
they
too.
would Chie in Persona 5. I mean, why not though?
They could give her cameo. That's in the realm.
They
of
might
the
give her a
realm of possible.
cameo. They might
don't know.
reference her, but she's not gonna be a central character.
Yeah.
No,
And
nobody's
I don't
saying
think
that. I mean,
Oh.
yeah,
Well, I
I'm
don't
for sure.
know if
Sure,
she'll
I'm thinking.
make it in. It depends on the story, because if they choose to go back to a dark kind of Persona 3 style story, Chie doesn't fit in that at all.
No.
Not really.
Not unless.
You
So-
You don't know. Well, obviously, no one knows anything what's going on with
Nope.
Persona 5 yet. So it's like,
Nope.
oh, what are they gonna
I
do?
think that we all I think that we all love her
I think
equally.
that Aaron's interjection to say nope so quickly is a little. Maybe you do know something, Aaron.
Oh, I wish. Shoot, if I knew something, I would definitely not even be talking this much about it, because I would be like, oh, I don't want to blow any NDAs. I don't want to get screwed. I
Yeah.
really, literally know nothing.
It's
They tell you
Yeah,
not.
kind of like what happened.
Because I'm not hired on that job. I've got, I haven't even heard that. I don't even know. Are they making it in Japan? Is it already made? Like, I haven't heard nothing.
It's definitely in development, for sure.
Okay, see, then
Yeah,
there's
it
nobody in
from-
America is going to know anything.
from
Mhm.
what I've read, they said they started on it right after Catherine. It's like the same team that worked on Catherine is working on Persona 5.
That's badass. That'd be cool.
No. What they really should do is they need a spin-off game again, a buddy cop movie with Chie and Yukiko.
Well, obviously, what they really need to
Chie and
really
Naoto.
need to just straight up
Yeah,
do is,
go together.
I think they really need to just give up the goat and just do Persona 4 2. I'll take that.
I'd take that too, man.
I
totally would.
take that.
I totally would.
Too.
Yep, I take
Yeah.
it. You know what else I take? I take Persona 4 Arena 2. I would take that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Bring
Although
it.
it's
Whichever
kind
one
of
they
funny
want.
that you mentioned NDAs. There was a point where it was before Shin Megami Tensei 4 was announced, where we have on NeoGAF one of the editors from Atlas that works on the games, and he pretty much was almost about to spill it, and then he's like, you know what? He's like, ban me, and they banned him from the site for an undisclosed amount of time or whatever.
Yeah, for
And
the
it was just
NDA.
like it was
Yeah.
like right
It's
after
hard to get excited about projects. Like, I literally have to check. I have a list on my phone of projects I'm not allowed to talk about because they're not announced yet. I have to constantly check it because I can't tell. Because there might be like some excitement about a game that's going to be released, so I see it all over the message boards. But I'm like, oh no, but it hasn't been announced the cast yet, and it's so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
it's such a
I
thing
can
to
imagine.
talk about.
Yeah, when I do a review and I'm under non-disclosure, I have to be like, oh, I want to say this, but I can't.
All right.
But that's a good answer, because one of our questions was, are you anxious for Persona 5? So there we go.
Oh yeah.
But I think
Oh.
I think that's all we've got for actual questions. We got lots of people that big fans. My question, Aaron, is great voiceover artist or greatest voiceover artist?
Oh.
From Tom Abernathy. So-
Mediocre. No, I love Tom Abernathy. Actually, is one of the best voiceover directors and game creators I've ever worked with. He's a badass.
Oh
He's-
wow!
Yeah, he's really amazing. He's so much. He's so. Oh, he's the signs of a really good voice director is giving, letting the voice actor do what they do, letting the actor do their job, which is to create. And he really creates an environment where you feel like you're co-creating with him. And, he creates the games. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So he gets the whole process, and that he would even give an actor that opportunity to be a part of that process in that way. It's such a rare thing. He's a jewel among men.
He just
So
kind
he's the
of
greatest.
totally enables you creatively.
Absolutely. And because of directors like that, it allows actors to be great.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's pretty much all the questions except for the waifu one, but but
The waifu one. Oh my
My
god.
lord.
yeah, like I'll hold
Well,
I
on.
know.
No,
do you guys
none of
know who
that.
Chie's waifu is?
No.
Who?
Who's Chie's waifu?
I don't know, but I'd love to know.
You'd have to tell us.
Come on, you played the games, you watched the anime. If you don't know, then you're in denial.
Dude, it's Yukiko. Come on.
Hello,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
BFFs.
How could I miss that?
No,
Yeah.
that's it makes the most sense. They're that close friends, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Why
I
not?
figured
I
something.
think
I
Chie
figured
is in
something was
love.
up.
I played all those games in that animation with the intention, except for the storyline where Chie falls in love with you. But that's my entire intention is that Chie is madly in love with Yukiko. That is a personal choice I'd made as an actor. Everything. So if you go back and play it and listen, that is very clear because I am in love with her.
Oh, a lot of
Wow.
people, a lot of the quote unquote people that do shipping always, say like, oh, Yukio and Chie are totally a couple, and you can see that absolutely,
I
especially.
mean, I don't know if Yukiko feels the same. I know she thinks of me as her best friend and may not want to cross that line, but I think Chie would definitely cross that line if Yukiko was ready.
Wow.
That's
There-
awesome.
That's great. I think
Yeah.
I think it's really cool and bold that you're willing to commit to that as part of the act. I think that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's
Was in the writing. I know that I didn't really discuss that with Atlas because I didn't know if that was, if something they supported or not. And so it's not really out there in the game. And obviously they created a Chie love story, but that was the hardest because I felt like I was cheating on Yukiko in my heart.
Oh.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Like, someone we had on a few episodes ago even said, like, I couldn't romance Yukiko or Chie because I totally saw them as the couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
But
Right.
I felt that way
That's
too.
great.
yeah,
That's great. I tell you, that whole cast, you believe it. It makes certain choices so hard because you believe all of it.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But I think that's all we have for questions. So if you guys have any last ones, go for
That
it.
was great.
I actually, who did you play in Saints Row? Was it like
I
a
did a
major
lot. I
character?
did like some gang members and some cops and some ambulance people. Multiple. That's one of those I played 20 extra character kind of filler characters. None of
Okay.
them
Okay,
because I can do the accents.
all right.
Totally. I figured that's
Oh.
great. Saints Row is great. That's a great series.
I was gonna,
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask just for recent stuff. Is there anything you can talk about that's coming out soon?
Oh yeah, that you want to hype up?
I feel like there is. Hang on a second. What is it? What am I allowed to talk about?
Yeah, wait. If you're not sure, yeah.
If you're, don't.
If you're
I
not
can
sure,
say, I can say in the next 2 months, there's at least 2 games that I'm very excited about. In the next 2 months, there should be a couple of games coming out that I'm pleased. I'm very pleased with
Okay.
the games themselves. I'm not sure about my performance yet, but I'm really the games were like, oh, I would play this game. I want to play this game.
Okay. I have one last question. It just occurred to me. I understand you've played Catherine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you played through Persona 4 before?
I have my Persona 4 Arena. I don't have a Vita, so I don't have Golden, and I haven't played through it. No,
Ah.
I haven't had the time because that's one of those ones. Like
Yeah.
Catherine, I can stop and start, but Persona 4, I have to sit and I don't. Luckily this year has been nice and busy, and when I don't have the time, it means I'm working. So thank you.
Oh, fair enough. No, yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's a big time commitment. I've played through it like 4 times since 2008, and it takes forever. But
yeah, it does.
I do have the anime series and have watched it though.
okay. And with that note, we're just gonna say our goodbyes. And first off, we'll just go through each panel member and say where can we follow you? What are your projects? What are you doing these days? And we'll start with Ron.
Wait, what am I saying? Sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
No,
Because I was reflecting on this experience.
Where can people follow you? The same.
Oh, where can people? You can follow me on Twitter at Tailspun and readstickskills.com because that's a good website.
Okay,
that you
Jello.
should read.
Jello?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm Jello44 on Twitter.
That's it.
and Jello44 pretty much everywhere else.
Okay, fair enough. Armada?
I'm Follow Armada on Twitter, and I'm definitely going to be writing another song for our next podcast. And I'm definitely going to be putting together some fan art because I've been so inspired by Erin today. Like, really, really blown my mind. Like, I knew you were smart going into this, and your intelligence and passion for what you do, and your craft and your art is just amazing. And so, yeah, I'm inspired. I'll draw something. I'll send it to you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfect.
And how about you, Erin?
I'm Erin Fitzgerald, and you can follow me at Erin Fitzgerald on Twitter, and on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Erin Fitz with a Z fan page, and Tumblr, and somewhere, I think it's Erin Fitzgerald, that's just basic, and my website is erinfitz with a Z badass.com.
And you gotta eat more meat, people. Seriously, get on that.
Paleo style.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Paleo, bitches. Oops.
hell yeah.
Everything I've learned about martial arts and paleo was from Chie. So
I love that. I love that.
Meat is part of a balanced diet.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you can follow me as always as @Levito on Twitter @LEVIT0, and I write for ReliantHorror.com, cover horror games, so on and so forth. And you can I should mention, I forgot to mention this the past couple episodes, the show is on iTunes, so if you can, leave us a review because it helps us get out there, and
Awesome.
we appreciate it.
Review everybody. Leave them a good review, a really nice one.
Yeah, exactly, right. And also, if you want to, if you have a show suggestion or anything, just email at slink.fmpodcast@gmail.com, or comment on the website, and I'll get back to you. And with that, I believe we've all said our piece, and everyone say bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Take care.
All music for this podcast was provided by composer Doug Farrell. Check out his work at dougfarrellmusic.com and Douglas Farrell Music on YouTube. See you all in the Velvet Room. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of S-Link FM, Persona Gaff's very own and original podcast. I am your host, Levito, and with me today, as always, is Jello.
Hello.
Inorigo, or Ron.
Hi.
And
Oh, shit.
What?
Hold on 1 second. I forgot to fucking get my charger from my laptop. Hold on.
Keep
Oh,
that.
so- And
Don't
with the
get rid of
discussion that
that.
we had before the podcast, I don't know if we should cut that or keep that.
I was just like, what is going on?
And good night.
Jello just had his Bill O'Reilly moment. Can't read the screen! Anyways, that's going in at the end.
That was too good.